Friends, our fourth podcast to go over the concepts in section 2.2 of the AP Stats book. This was your fourth goal for the section, how to use table A to find the percentile. So this is really using that table backwards. So let's go back to part C of this question. They want to know how long the longest 20% of pregnancies are. Well, if the longest 20% means they're in the 80th percentile, because 20% of the values are higher means 80% have to be lower. So when I get back to the table, I have to look around in here till I find the value closest to 0.80, and it's right in here, in between these two. So that means it's between 0.84 and 0.85, and it's closer, as you can see, to 0.84. So we'll just go with that. So now this requires, to finish a question, you're remembering what the z-score means. It's the number of standard deviations and the formula that I told you earlier in the year. So anytime I want to find a value in context, I can multiply the standard deviation times the z-score and then add that to the mean. So in this case, the mean was 266 days, standard deviation 16, z-score 0.84. So that came out to 279.44 days. So we're really using the table A backwards. It's called inverse norm on our calculator program, which we've gone on. So if I go to the program key, and inverse norm is number 1, and I hit enter, the area under the curve, again for the 80th percentile, has to be 0.8, and when I hit enter, it gives me the 0.84. So I can use the table, but I also got the quick program, which makes my life a lot easier. Let's do an example. So in your book, we're just going to do part of this, number 54, part C. So what this table is telling me is that I have the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale, standard IQ test for people, blah, blah, blah. So they want the top 2%. Well, what percentile goes with the top 2%? 98th percentile. All right, so if I go and find the area under the curve for 98, whatever the z-score comes out to, then I'm going to take the average, which again is written in the problem here. Now that's mu, and everyone should remember mu is another way of saying mean, and there's the lowercase sigma, another way of saying standard deviation. So I'm going to take the 110, which is the mean, and I'm going to add the standard deviation times the number of z-scores for 98th percentile, and that's going to give me my answer. And of course I'm going calculator on this. When I hit enter, 0.98 for 98th percentile. It gives me the z-score, which is 2.05. And when I do 110 times plus 25 times 2.05, let's put this in here, 2.05, I get, you tell me, 161.25. So that's the idea of using information from the table about percentiles to actually put answers to problems back in context.